So what does your training look like?
So at the moment in an off season, I'm currently sticking to like 7-week blocks. So 6 weeks.
7 week with one program?
Yes. 7 weeks, one program, 6 weeks, and then a week deload. And I'm loving the deload weeks, not going to lie, because I'm really pushing myself with this training because it has changed quite a bit. I've changed federations. So I won an Australian title in 35 plus in WBFF last year, and I decided to switch to IFBB. IFBB bikini is a very different ball game. The bikini criteria is extremely different compared to WBFF.
Yeah. But it's the same, it's still bikini.
It is bikini, but so WBFF, for example, they don't look for, like muscular delts, for example. They don't really want capped delts. They don't want too much conditioning. So there's a level of muscle that you kind of need to have to stick to the bikini criteria. And it's very quads and sort of glutes. Like that's kind of like the look.
Quite bottom heavy.
Whereas IFBB bikini, it's very, very different. It's more focused on glutes and like ham tie and delts and like small waist, and not like really, they don't really want much quad either.
Right.
So I had to pretty much.
Yeah, that's a very different look.
Yeah.
And training program. Like I'm just thinking of exercise selection in my head as you're talking. I'm like, that's a very different way to program.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much just training delts, back, glutes, and hammies. Literally. I don't train quads. I don't train anything else.
Well, some elements of your quads will come through with the other exercises, right? So and if you just maintain the size of your quads just from some of the accessory work that they get with the exercises that you do, it might just maintain itself out.
Yeah, yeah. And I've loved it because it's given me new life in the gym because it's a different style of training, and just the fact that I never really used to focus on upper body was also really exciting for me because I've fallen in love with upper body training. And back in the day, if you had asked me like upper body day, are you excited? I would have been like, hell no. Like I used to hate it, but it was only because I was not good at it. And you know what I mean? Like I wasn't very strong. And now building my strength in my upper body has been really, really exciting. Just the different approach to training in general has been really exciting, and really kind of educating myself along the way as well in terms of how to really, really train your glutes. Whereas I think back in the day, I used to think I was training glutes, but I think it was more like my back and, different muscle groups, or my quads, for example. But so I've learnt so much along the way, and I think that's why, again, like I just love the process so much. And
what split are you doing?
Okay.
It's the question everyone likes to ask. What split are you doing?
Typically, I would be doing lower upper split, and it would be 3 lower, 2 upper. But at the moment, I'm actually training glutes 5 times a week. So it would be glutes, delts, glutes, back delts, and then one day with just glutes. Okay, so I'm kind of confusing myself. So Monday, for example, is glute, back, and delts. And then Tuesday is just lower body. And then Wednesday will be, again, glutes, delts. So it's hitting them every single day, and it's like volume across the week as opposed to volume per workout. And I have responded really well to it so far. So this is probably my 3rd week in this block, and I have never felt my glutes burn this much. Like it has been, and it was funny because at first I saw the program and I messaged my coach and I was like, what is the logic behind this?
Yeah, it sounds like because it sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot of volume, but I obviously prioritize recovery as well. So I'm getting massages 1 to 2 times a week, really making sure that I'm stretching and all of that. But yeah, I'm responding to it really well so far. So yeah, and I'm sure it'll change the next block, but that's currently where we're at.
Yeah. And a lot of people can't really perceive like following a program for like 6 weeks or 7 weeks, for example, because people, and this is something I combat a lot on social media, is the like just random workouts that kind of frustrate me when people just like jump from workout to workout, not even program to program.
Yeah.
Which is like bad enough in itself. Because if the programs don't make sense to each other, then you're just doing heaps of random stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you're doing like random workouts all the time,
Yeah.
which is what a lot of people do, they'll like save a workout from their favorite influencer, which is cool. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
But like you can't just do that and then just like do another person that you like's workout and just like expect it to work and
Yeah.
expect to look like that person.
Yeah.
And if you look at the people that know what they're doing, or like some of the best physiques of all time and things like that, they follow programs.
Yeah. And every program is essentially the same thing, just different variation. It's the same exercise. And a lot of the exercises in my current block were in my last block, but it's just adding different variations or different ways of doing the exact same exercise. Really.
Yeah, that's all it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And even with myself, because I coach people, like I do get some questions like, oh, how come we're doing this again? And it's like there's only so many things that you can do. Like we don't just invent exercises for fun. Like a squat has been around for ages because it's a great exercise.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. There are ways to make variation within a squat. So, for example, for people that aren't aware, like you can do a back squat, that's a high bar. You can do a low bar squat. You can do front squats.
Yeah.
You know, even if you wanted, you could use a dumbbell if you want to do goblet squats, and then you can do split squats and all that kind of stuff. But even within the same exercise, if you have a back squat, like a high bar squat, for example, you can do 3 sets of 10, you can do 5 sets of 5, you can do, whatever, 6 sets of 7, you can do whatever you want to achieve. But then within that as well, you can change the tempo.
100%. Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't even aware of tempo as well.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh yeah, I just squat. Like, oh, we're doing squats again. It's like, no, it's not a squat. It's a like 3 seconds down, 2 second pause at the bottom squat. It's very different.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like you can totally progress with those same exercises, just different approach. And like look for whatever you have, wherever you have better mind to muscle connection is like the key, right? Because like for me, tempo is where it's at the moment. Like
I love it.
You should see my workouts. Like everything is super slow, super slow. But I love how it feels. So I fall in love with that style of training. And different. What I mean by different variations, for example, if I'm doing like, I don't know, side raises. Like I'm now doing them on the floor. Like we're doing like lying side raises with the cables as opposed to standing, because for me, my problem was I was always bringing my delts in to do the work. Sorry, my traps. So, just that kind of like finding exercises where you have better isolation, like things like that, which is exactly the same exercise, but you're just like having better mind to muscle connection.
Yeah, I just programmed for Built by Brock, one of these programs that I do, and there's like a big kind of like membership of people that follow it, and the tempo is like 5 seconds down for quite a lot of exercises.
Yeah.
And
Ouch.
yeah, everyone's like super sore,
yeah,
which is bound to happen with that sort of tempo. But also a challenging thing with 5 seconds down is you have to drop the weights.
Yeah.
And that's a good ego check.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're not following that tempo, you can lift much more weight.
Yeah.
Like you can, I don't know, maybe lift 30-40% more if you're just like going 2 seconds down, or like just kind of going down and up, like you would just, okay, we'll just do it comfortably. But if you're counting 5 seconds, 5 seconds has never been longer. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's such a long way down, like when you're doing it that way. But it's a great way to check if you're lifting with your ego or with your not, or if you're not, because it's a different, it feels like a different exercise to me.
Yeah.
And I'm following it at the moment, like my own program. And I did a push day, I think it was like maybe 3 days ago, and I'm still recovering from it.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't training like this previously, and I went on like a holiday and I didn't really train. And it's just like that way. That
was this your recent holiday?
Yeah.
Where you said your abs were washed up, but really they weren't?
No, I was trying to share something, but I don't know if I succeeded or not. But yeah, I didn't train I think I trained 4 times in like 2 weeks, which doesn't really happen. I used to be like, I've probably chilled out more now that I would say, number one, just had a better understanding of training, and that like muscle doesn't really disappear.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing that I was trying to prove with that post, but maybe didn't. But
yeah. No,
like,
you did. You totally did.
Like,
you nailed it.
But yeah, like, I would usually lose my shit. Like back in the day, lose my shit if I missed a session. I would train
Yeah.
on Christmas Day. I'd train on my birthday,
Yeah.
which is New Year's Eve, and it was like a double whammy. I was
wow.
like, I'm training. Like, you know, it was always like the hunt for open gyms because
Yeah.
gyms are always closed, right? Unless you're a member of a 24/7 gym, you can
yeah.
get in. But if you're not and you're traveling, you're like, oh, I have to get somewhere.
There are still gyms that aren't 24/7.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's a struggle. Like in Noosa, like not that I was going to train outside of hours, but that one wasn't. So I had to like, you know, go in at the right time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I used to lose my shit and be like, I have to train. But like the more I've learned, the more I've understood, you don't actually need to. Like it's a good habit too.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't just want to like slack off for no reason. But if you're on holiday, it's like, man, it's and holidays are different when you have kids.
Yeah.
You know, as you would know, like,
Yeah.
well, I can't say kids. I have one daughter,
Yeah.
but you know, and you have more than one, so it's time becomes more rare,
Oh yeah.
and just everything is
Quick
like
and efficient workouts are really good on a holiday. Like
Yeah.
the last holiday that we had, which is a very, very distant memory now, but the last one we had, I do remember waking up before everybody so that I could get my, 30 minutes of like a workout. And it was a really quick, kind of like holiday circuit style workout. They're the
Yeah.
kind of ones that you want to do. But I just felt great if I did that. And,
Yeah.
I would get back and everybody was still asleep. So winning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it didn't affect the family holiday, essentially.
Just your sleep on the family holiday.
Just my sleep.
Yeah, yeah, that's one thing that I was doing. But I hate training in the morning. I hate doing it first thing. I saw that you train quite early.
Yeah.
I can't do that, but I suppose I have the freedom to train a bit later on, unsure of your schedule. Like maybe you don't, but I can't train early in the morning. I don't know how you do it. Like even after caffeine hit that would like wake up anyone,
Yeah.
I still couldn't train. Like I just feel weak. Like I did it before we left on our trip to Noosa. I trained at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
and man, I was lifting pathetically.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. Like maybe you get used to it. I even had like heaps of carbs the night before
Yeah.
to try and like, come on, I'm coming in pumped. And I was like, let's go. And then it was just like pathetic.
I think that it has improved over time. Like I'm not going to say it was easy at first. And the only reason why I do it 3 times a week, I get up at 4. And that's because I work in Sydney. I live on the coast and it's
a big
the
trip.
only time I can do it. Like I can't train after work because I get home and it's go time with the kids. So it's literally the only time I have. And I just do it. I just do it. And at first it was really, really challenging and I had to get used to it. And sure, I wasn't my strongest at that time of the day. So it just meant that I had to train with intention and really tune into my body and like get the most out of my workout without having to go super heavy. But I've gotten better over time and it's just become like second nature now. So I still have a pre-workout meal. I get up literally like half asleep and I make overnight oats, so they pretty much eat the
Yeah,
same
nice.
pre-workout meal. So I get up, take it out of the fridge, eyes half open, like eat it and then, get ready and and then it takes me about 40 minutes like from the time that I get up to the gym and then I do my activation exercises. So I do all of that while I'm still digesting because essentially like it's hard to train when you're still digesting, right? So it's good that I do my warm up and my activation and then by the time that's done, it's been about 45 minutes since I had the meal and then I'd get my caffeine in. So then I have my, toxic caffeine pre-workout.
Do you take coffee or do you actually take a pre-workout?
I do a pre-workout. Yeah.
I've given up pre-workouts.
Nasty stuff.
Like green and purple. Like, what is this?
Like you're literally struggling to drink it. But I do that. And then I also have Gatorade Power during my workouts, which is the carbs. So I just have that energy coming in.
Okay.
And I actually feel really great. Like I feel great in my workouts. The only time I won't feel great is where I have less than 6 hours sleep. So I aim for 6, 7, mostly 7, but sometimes it's 6. If I get less than that, rubbish.
It's a challenge.
Yeah. So that's kind of like how I've like structured it and just gotten used to it. And I'm a morning person, which is obviously works to my, like it's an advantage because I'm pretty much like I'm always on. I'm ready to go in the morning.
Like that morning routine would be even worse if you were hating it.
Yeah.
Like if you were a night owl and you were trying to do that, that would be impossible.
Yeah, like my husband's a night owl. Like
Yeah,
there's
right.
no way he would train at that time of the
Yeah,
day.
he's probably going to bed. You're like waking up.